Well, the kids ask me, what are we supposed to tell them? He was here for the revival. Jari. Yeah, see, it's here. I'll show you a picture of it. You're good. After you see the picture, it'll like shake your memory and bring it all together. Get it? We're old and we gotta get it to come together. Almost bald, he's got a little mustache, wears glasses. Sure. It's Jari, isn't it? Copy. Off-white picture. Was she here for revival? Oh, I don't know. Yes, she's back. Wait, find one here too. Let me just show her. Where's he from? Chicago.
So how you been doing? David, how you been doing?
Oh, fine. Thank you for asking.
David,
you traveled good? You came back safely from your trip?
You been sick?
Last Wednesday, we were coughing, so it was best to stay away. Yeah, we canceled everything last week. Didn't go to church last Thursday either. I told my pastor, I'm not over it, so I better stay home. So last week,
that's smart.
It is, so you don't spread it.
We just didn't feel great. Now we feel good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The paper that's being handed out is exactly like the presentation I'm sitting on the screen here because I'm going to go fast, cover everything pretty fast, so I get it to you so you can read it. Examples. You don't get that? Hold on. Let me see.
Oh, it was a traffic too.
Oh, the angels were following me.
Yeah. I wonder where Marshall's at.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know. This is what I'm hearing. I showed her Jari. You. I'm an American.
The J is silent. Y'all.
Okay. In the past, I spoke to the subject before, and perhaps I didn't go on and on about that, but still, I think that you don't understand this is real and genuine. Where a group of world leaders wants to have happen by the year 2030. That's 7 years from now. So I want to explain this word. It's leaders that no one voted for. She said world leaders that you didn't vote for. But they have these ideas, and they pulled their leaders from various countries So I'm gonna explain this term here, reset. It means to start again. Like you use, computer's a good example. You know, you shut something down or you're struggling with a device and you have to hit the button to reset it, start it up again. But this is a little different. To make this work, you first have to destroy what we have now. Meaning that your way of life, everything that you know, you're gonna shut it down and start again so they can have control. You might have heard about things on occasion about electrical money.
What's the best sign for it?
What's the word? You looking for a sign for it? What's the word?
The new banking.
E-commerce.
Digital?
Online.
The
Well, they
Bitcoin.
want to get rid of the dollar, the money, and
They want to get rid of the
Yeah,
fiat,
money.
the fiat currency, and just everything looks right here, right? Somehow now, there's Bitcoin, but it's different from that. So in the future, you won't have money in your wallet. You see homeless people, you can't give them any money. And it's not, kind of like charging, but, people perhaps will have chips in their hands no matter what. The government bank, the one that controls everything, they want this. And in the future, way in the future, when you make a purchase, they could say, no, you can't do it. And they could stop you from buying that. Americans have the most free country, and it's capitalism is what we use. And that is the idea behind, part of our freedom. You can start a business, plan your money yourself, plan your future. But these folks don't want that. You'll be under their control. They'll control everything. You can go on the internet and look this up yourself if you understand the terminology here. So I'm not trying to be a wise guy here and tell you everything. I don't know it all. I don't understand it all. I'm going to show you a picture of this guy later. WEF. They meet annually. They're in Switzerland in a town called Davos. It's a pretty place. That's where the world leaders meet, and they started meeting several years ago. You remember Prince Charles. Now he's King Charles. He's involved in this. Al Gore is involved in this, and there are many other people that you have not even heard of. Businesses and all that, all around the world. Head of the World Bank, there's a woman there. Microsoft. They talk about the future, they plan for the future, and when COVID hit, it was their perfect opportunity. So they began to use their ideas for this reset. They have goals to make everything equal for everyone, everything equivalent, meaning what you own, no, it's not going to belong to you going forward. It's going to belong to them. You will own nothing and be happy. That's what this guy says. And he has a whole list of things. If you saw him, you think he's crazy. I think it's satanic. They have an agenda that was planned for 2021, and they're moving forward. This World Economic Forum's founder, he has a book. It's called The Fourth Industrial Revolution, and COVID-19 and the Great Reset. He wrote that book. It's an industrial revolution. We had a great industrial revolution back in time in America. That's where things really began to develop and spread, technology and all that sort of thing. And now he wants something new. He wants it to change. Industrial means businesses, economics, all that sort of thing. That's him. He's German, he speaks English, his voice sounds, I know it means nothing to you, but yeah. You can read here what it says. Big fish means the powerful, the wealthy. And so, it's the fast fish which eats the slow fish. I forget. It's just an idea. And if you're slow, you don't catch up, you won't be left behind. But if you're involved and active, well, then you will succeed.
What is that? Because of COVID.
Now is the time for the Great Reset because of COVID. So it makes me wonder if COVID was planned. I don't know, I cannot prove it, but I've heard it said. I wonder how it just worked out so perfectly. You see, there's a lot of things on the news which speak to the global warming. We've heard about this. The earth is warming, things are changing, and the world will end. A few years ago, there's a woman, Secretary of Commerce, Alexandria Ortiz, yeah, that is. She's got black hair, big glasses. She hasn't been in Congress for a long time, but she speaks very quickly, and I have noticed that on the news they always focus on her. You know, no one had ever heard about her before, but it is. She said a few years ago, we have to make changes now. There's only 12 years left before the world ends. And the earth will be destroyed. Something to that effect. Because of global warming. All these things, New York, all come together to make world leaders join in partnership and unite. And President Biden, he's going along with this. He speaks about global warming. He went to Mexico We met with them, their president, and military, that was a few days ago. And they spoke about global warming. Biden didn't call it the reset. He said, he used the terminology, build back better. And he has said this many times. It means the same thing. He should just start it all over again. Destroy what you have now and build back something better. It's the same idea, same philosophy. And I'm not here to talk and criticize the president. Do that, but he says this in front of you. He opens us up, most Americans don't believe this is going to happen. So the only thing that can stop this from happening is a strong America. And America is not strong. Under everything. I'm not saying these things to frighten you. But this is, you can extract this from the Bible. They're in the Bible. You'll recall Babel, the Tower of Babel, which they built so they could reach to the heavens. There was a man named Nimrod. He was symbolically the same, and as symbolically the same as the Antichrist. And he thought himself that he would bring people all together, and then they would have no need for God. Man can do everything. You remember Noah and the ark? Were arrested, Noah. Well, he had 3 sons and whatever. God told him them to scatter, to live all of the earth, and some of his grandchildren, ancestors, whatever, they stayed in one area. They didn't want to scatter. They didn't want to do what God said. So he started to build a tower to go to heaven. Not to meet God, to be God. God looked down at this and said, whoa. Y'all are speaking the same language. So God fixed that. He confused their language. So they could not understand each other. So then they scattered.
Of course.
And of course, universities and colleges would never teach that. And they would accuse this of being a myth or a story. But it's right there in the Bible. The same evil spirit in man, in humans, is the same evil spirit in the Great Reset. The worldly ways say, we humans can fix everything, but the world must change. That's what this is all about. Go ahead, Brandon. We are at a time that must change. We should not underestimate the historical significance of the situation that we're in. Why did I use this vocabulary, this complex vocabulary? Because I just took it right from them, from their source. I couldn't change it to easier vocabulary. You asked me why two? The reset. Remember the Great Reset, and then the other said the New World Order. So here, the New World Order. See, now the world is comprised of different countries all throughout the planet. And this term sovereign, it means that you are your own, under your own control. America is sovereign. We don't bow down to other countries. We don't bow down to the UN. But it appears that our leaders are now, they are involved in getting behind and perhaps making plans that we don't even know about. Support. No, I was thinking behind the scenes. Yeah. Having these secret meetings and stuff. Man-made plan used by the people of that. I didn't contrive this. The New World Order means that the governments will have to come together. Remember Daniel? In the Bible, he prophesies about future times, about when the beast and other, with the different heads and horns and all that, this beast is the world. Really led by Satan, but this beast is going to have 10 horns representing 10 different nations or countries. It's the same idea. Remember Daniel, how he interpreted dreams for King Nebuchadnezzar? Remember that statue, the head of gold, the breast of silver, you remember that. The legs were iron. That was Rome. But Rome, all right, let me explain this. The gold, that portion that it represented, which was Babylon, and it's gone. They were conquered. And then there was Persia, which were overthrown by the Greeks. Rome never overthrew anyone, but they became very involved in politics. So Daniel said the feet of his statue would be iron and clay. And then a big stone was going to strike it and it would fall. Well, anywho, the stone is Jesus.
His death on the cross.
His death on the cross. Rome did not last for many years, but Rome, the Romans, they spread all out, they dispersed. And they represented the 10 countries. Because, feet have 5 toes each, all together 10, which is a reference to that beast. I know it's deep and it's overwhelming. But the New World Order is talking about the rise of 10 nations, which will come back with power. How are they going to do this? The reset. Just push a button and boom. The world will join hands in partnership together. The Bible doesn't speak at all to America. Remember that America, come on in. Check. Yeah. What was that? What?
Listen,
Push the button. Oh, yeah.
Reset the nation.
There's a bird flying around and stole my phone.
Anyway, the world, that world order, is going to come out. Yeah, America wasn't mentioned. It's not a superpower in the world anymore. Right now, America is strong worldwide. But what is the purpose of America? The Bible does not speak to this. But if you notice, America, years ago, was set up as an example. Its example was the Bible, and our country was established on biblical truths by, established by God. America has had the power to keep peace in the world. And I know that there are other countries, that buddy on us, but the purpose right now, America it's sick because we are becoming a people who reject Christ. People don't want to go to church. So America one day is going to fall, just like Rome did. And I don't think, well, I hope not, but I don't think that other countries are going to come and bomb us and destroy us. I think we're going to self-destruct. Anyway, Jesus said, he didn't say anything about countries out in the Western world. He didn't say anything about that. The 10 countries that they're all going to spread from Rome, whatever they're comprised of. They're going to return. God told Noah and his children to fill the earth with people. He didn't say, stay right there in this spot. He says, fill the earth, disperse. Ham had a son named Nimrod. He became a very powerful man. And evil. He's the one. He sat up and settled in the area that we know as Babylonia, right here. And at that time, everybody spoke the same language, and then people began to move to the east. And they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and remained there. God, he wanted them to fill the earth, to take possession of it. But Noah's descendants, they decided to rebel, to not obey God. Instead, they built a city and a tower so that they would not be scattered all across the earth. Oh, hi. I don't want to see y'all go. Stay here. We'll be buds. You'll join in with me. We'll build together. God destroyed the earth with the flood. But we can build back better.
God did that.
God did reset.
God didn't reset it. He destroyed it with water, and he started all over again. Now, with COVID, we have this Build Back Better all over again. Not for God. And I have noticed COVID was awful, and people are still getting sick from it. But I've noticed that people are still living in fear of it. I still see people, I'm not criticizing them, I'm not judging them, but I still see people with masks. I saw an old woman driving alone in her car with the windows up, wearing a mask.
Right.
Is she afraid of catching COVID? Somehow she's gonna get it alone in her car there? I throw up my hands. I'm just saying. The government has made a lot of people frightened. And that was also a perfect opportunity for this governments to see how the people would respond to their laws or orders or commands. People said, let's build back a city and a tower, just like it reads here, together. We do this together. A tower, and then we'll be famous, we'll be renowned. And this will keep us together so that we will not be scattered all over the earth. God ordered them to fill the earth with people, but rather they decided a new world order, a system. This system. Their way, not God's way. We already spoke to this. To reset means to start all over again. First you have to destroy the old way and start all over again. You push a button so this new world system can come into being. You have to stop your way of thinking like America, or different countries have their different ways. They want this cooperation. That is the reset. The Great Reset initiative, this idea is economic. You notice how things are going downhill, failing economically? And this is by plan. How's that? Well, America has several trillion of debt, and it's getting increasingly worse. We can't possibly even get back. Richard Nixon, he made a decision to go away from drop the gold standard in support of our money. That's a big mistake. So now we're supported by, in the past, everybody had their gold standard, but no more. That's been put aside. So we will stand behind our money. So from here forward, America started just printing money, handing it out based on our name, based on our world leadership. So they spend and they print. We have nothing to back that up. So one day, America, the dollar, is going to be worthless. Do you know why everything costs so much these days? Because the government owes. And that, makes prices soar. Our president wants 7,000, 87,000. Oh yeah, 87,000 new IRS agents. And they already have so very many. That 87,000 is going to need to check y'all out. Me too.
I think of the picture.
I like to think of this image. There's a rag here, you dip it, you twist out the moisture, and you're going to get every drop out of it. Every drop. That's what they're going to do to the taxpayer. Ring them until they get every drop. That's just my idea, silly as it may be. Oh my God. Yeah, there's new companies now. They're gonna stop removing this fiat currency. The Republicans. I hope they win. Yeah, they're passing legislation for that, but that's gonna go through the Senate. The project began in June 2020 with a video featuring the then Prince of Wales, Charles, announced its start. There's a video of him. This plan for the Great Reset. Go ahead. Okay. So we got some big terminology here. See, resilient, equitable, that means fair. Resilient means it maintains, sustainable means it continues on, doesn't stop. They use this vocabulary to imply we'll have a better way to make things more equivalent. So there won't be any poor people. And we'll be able to sustain the government, and nothing's going to fail. We'll be stronger, we won't be weak. Is that a good idea? It sounds good on paper. They will use global warming,
People.
Amongst it, and socializing, governance, and ESG. That's what ESG stands for: environmental, social, and governance. These three things. That's going to make big corporations, companies, have to agree and accept their goals. Well, the E is environmental, which evaluates companies. You're going to check them out and see if there are risks or benefits to the world. If they think the company is risky, they'll be forced to accept the changes they put forward. So social, look at how do companies have relationships with people? How do they, and their workers, customers, and suppliers, governments, the rules, system, structures, their ways, their politics, and corporations. So that's too technical for me to explain. The ESG is used to evaluate corporations and to determine the future financial performance of companies. And if they don't comply, if they don't go along with it all, if they're that ESG goal, they will fail. Lakeland, is it China do all this now? China. Yeah. China already, Klaus Schwab looks to China. He doesn't praise them, their communism, but he looks at their model. So Chinese already have these things in place. You don't have any freedom in China. Today I heard about this woman, she's a missionary. She lives in China and has for several years. And she's talked about this big churches in China that refuse to join in the system and under their control. So the pastor, he stood strong. The church was growing, but the government removed him. Almost caused a war. The government wins over there. Communism, this is the idea, is like a government controlling the people. Marx, you know who that is? Marx? Karl Marx. He, way back when, he wrote the Communist Manifesto. And that is what started communism. He's considered the father of it, way back. Now, countries that follow his ideology are called Marxists, or they follow Marxism. And that happened. That's that same idea with the global leaders. WEF, World Economic Forum. They want to plan their way, and they want the world to join in and partner with them. Okay, let's go. This is the same that you see on screen here. Elites. People who set themselves above the rest of us. Nobody voted for them. They just decided, to form their group. Elites. They're elites because they're very rich, they're very powerful. Like John Kerry, for example. And King Charles. They're the cream of the crop, they're the top. They will make these decisions for us, what's best for us. They do not believe in sovereignty of the nation. They want this one world system. It's crazy how the King of England doesn't want his own country to be independent from the world. I don't know. I don't get it. It is. I told you about these 10 horns in Revelation 13:1. The serpent stood on the sandy shore of the sea. I saw a beast coming out of the sea, meaning leaders from various countries, and they spread. It had 10 horns, 7 heads, 10 crowns on its horns. There were insulting names on its heads, which were making insults to God. Countries here and there were going to come together. not under the church, not under God. There are false churches. I'm not saying all people in church are lost, but there are some churches which are the false. I don't want to name them, but some churches, their leaders, are very anti-Christian, but they still call themselves Christian. They label themselves with that. So this WEF, the World Economic Forum, they meet annually in Davos, Switzerland, and the WEF wanted a way to gain control over the influence of all countries. Many in the Western world have agreed to accept these goals. And it's sad that some in America, not all, thank God, but there are many Americans that are willing to accept these ideas and these philosophies. I still believe that the church is the one who stops or slows down this process. The Antichrist, he cannot come and take control until the church has been removed and is gone. So, when Jesus raptures us out of here, then after that time is when the New World Order system is going to begin form. And maybe 2030, I don't know. It's baby man's way or not, I don't know. It's not my way, it's not your way. So we just don't know when. But myself, as I grew up in church, I noticed that since COVID, all these things I'm hearing from many Bible teachers, they are talking about end times are coming soon. And Jesus returns soon. They are in agreement. Except Jesus. There are churches that don't even address this at all. There are many churches that don't even talk about this because the leaders are confused. But I do agree that your church is, if their goal is to win people to the Lord, okay, that's fine. But we need to know. We need to know. Revelation says, blessed and happy is the person who reads this book. That's what the book of Revelation says. Blessed and happy. Because I know that Revelation, the book, in the book of Daniel, he talks about this return. And I'm sad for the future. I'm sad for the children. I'm sad for parents and family that are not saved. But I am happy because I am ready. Brantley told me last Sunday, he says, be prepared. And that is right. I'm not going to go on. You can read this at home, but the Great Reset is something strange, something odd about that. And you read this, study it for yourselves. You can look it up on the internet if you want. You do. But trust in God. Believe in His plan. And He is capable. And we're not to fret, to worry, to be frightened. Then times are coming soon. Get your freak on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. We're gonna pray, and then after church, the church readers are gonna have a committee to discuss our future. Okay, let us stand.